us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them various stock grants and the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. Today from Florida, we have Joseph Newstreet. From British Columbia, we have Mike Giordano. From Maryland, we have Stephen James. From Ontario, we have Lawrence Mack. And our amazing moderator from California, Peggy Yarif. Peggy, take it away.
Thank you, Brian. I'm so excited for today. Last week's was an amazing ICONversations, and I have a feeling we are going to collectively beat that epic episode. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it on YouTube. So why don't we go around? We have 11 questions today, plus I added a little bonus question. We're just trying to give the most impactful hour for the agents that are watching. And so if you don't have an answer to one of the questions, or you feel like it's already been kind of solidified and the other person said what you said, don't feel like you have to jump in on it, because we're just going to try to give as much value back to our great EXP community. So why don't we first go through and everyone introduce themselves, what market you're in, and take it away. Who wants to go first?
Morning, everybody. I'll go first. This is Stephen James. I'm in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. Been with EXP for 3 to 4 years now. Been an icon every year and been in the business for a small amount of time, only 43 years. So I've got lots of trends and analysis for everybody to share.
Awesome.
I can go next. I'm Joe Newstreet, live in Orlando, deal with the Central Florida community. Been a realtor for 19 years, been with EXP for 5, and just a single agent. Always have been a single agent. So,
Mike.
Let's go. Mike Giordano. I'm in British Columbia. I live in Victoria. 6-time icon, 6 years at EXP. Grateful to be on stage. Thanks for being here.
All right. That leaves it to Lawrence.
Hey, everyone. Lawrence Mack out of Toronto. Been in the business about 10 years. Icon twice. Right now it's a balmy negative 30 degrees outside. Nice and balmy. It's great.
Wonderful. I'm Peggy Yarif. I am originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I relocated to the greater Sacramento area, the state capital of California, 22 years ago. I've been an agent for 22 years, joined EXP 5 years ago, and I think I'm a 4 or 5-time icon agent. And I'm also a mom of 5 and love real estate. So excited to learn from you guys today. Let's jump into the first question. What was the biggest shift, either mindset, strategy, or system-wise, that moved you from being busy to consistently earning icon?
I'll step up first. I think it was the point that when we figured out or just realized to stop chasing the new shiny bullet, stop chasing leads, and start focusing on our past customers. It was interesting. I was listening to Leo on the segment before this, and he was driving that home pretty hard, which is, 66% of your business or the new listings are coming from your past customers and sphere of influence, and only 9% came from the portals, which is what we realized early on and shifted our business from chasing the pay-per-clicks and the Zillows and all those types of things, and just really focusing on our past customers and making sure we're taking care of them and helping them, and remembering that every one of those past customers is probably attached to 6 more leads that we could service. So that was a big aha jump for our business.
Great. Stephen, you've been in the business a while. What was the big shift for you?
That was Stephen.
Oh, that was Stephen. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Sorry, I can't see it because I'm not looking at the people on the screen. Okay, so let's see. Mike, you probably have something to say about this.
Thanks, Peggy. I think, or anything. Thanks so much again, the opportunity to be here. I think just a realization that no one's really watching, no one's really paying that much attention to me. It's up for me to let folks know that I'm there for them. So just being consistent, predictable, and reliable with respect to touching base with people who already know, like, and trust me. It's been my juice.
Right. Anyone else have something to add to it, or we'll go to our next question?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say that whenever I talk to rookies and stuff, one of the biggest mind shifts that they have is really that this is like a sales business. Like a lot of them people want to get in the business because they like nice houses and people. And at the end of the day, I mean, whether you like the word sales or not, or if it's networking or getting in touch with people or helping people, whatever the word is for you, that shift, I think, is a lot different than just like seeing pretty houses. And I think once you start getting in that mode, your business does a lot better.
Right. Okay. Joseph, do you have anything? Otherwise, we'll go to our next question.
Yeah, I would just like to add, it's probably kind of a little bit of what everyone just said, but I've been in real estate 19 years, and it's just trial and error. You try and you learn. I think the biggest advice I can give in that area is, everyone makes mistakes, even the best realtors, and it's who can learn from that and just shift and figure out where you are getting the most clients and what part of your business is attracting them, and then kind of multiplying that, kind of focusing on it, and then trying to grow that spot and leave the other areas that you're not doing so well in, and then each year kind of getting better at doing that and fine tuning and kind of going from there. Everyone's different. There's I'm definitely different than a lot of realtors, and so it's you just got to find your niche. And I know it's kind of cliche, but it's true. Just find something you can do different. And the biggest thing I always go back to, and I'm sure I'll repeat again today, is how can you add the value that other people aren't able to do. So yeah, I think that's the biggest advice I would give.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, that's
if I can add to that, the other thing I've learned over watching all these years, and watching other agents, are the agents who have learned to adapt and then implement are the ones who move forward. And I've seen ebbs and flows of an agent or company will do really well and then will fade. And then someone else will come along and they'll do well and fade. But the ones who learn very quickly how to adapt, and whether it's learning from initially they might have learned from a Star Power conference or a Buffini or whatever it is, but they've learned that information and then quickly implement it, are the ones that get ahead and stay ahead. They keep learning and they keep implementing. Those are the people who are consistent and consistently do well in this business.
Yeah. I think there is shiny object syndrome in real estate. There's always something new, but I also think, what you talked about, adaptability in the market. I was just taking a client out to lunch this week, and she's in her 80s, and her dad helped design the modern day shipping container. And she was telling me how all the stevedores, the guys who would load the goods from the ship off onto the trucks, were picketing, rioting. And so I thought to myself, gosh, if I was in that situation, that I would see that as an opportunity to be a really great crane lifter, right? And I told that story to my kids. I'm like, everyone is always going to be against technology or against, that whole "Who Moved My Cheese" book is a good one.
Yeah.
But why don't I transition and do something bigger?
Yeah, I mean, historically, if we go back, and I'm going back a couple of years forward, but 1986, when they changed the investment rules, that was our first, the world was going to end. Nobody's going to buy investment properties. Obviously, that didn't happen, and the tax laws changed. And then early 93, around that time frame, when the internet came along, it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to be like travel agents. Nobody will need real estate agents. Well, here we are 34 years later, it's still doing fine. And it is what it is. It was a tool. And we knew it then, and we told people that then. And now, it's kind of the same thing with AI. That's the latest. And it's like, don't panic. It's a tool. It's going to be okay. Adapt to it, learn it, and implement it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of time saving things with AI. I just did a couple of classes with our MLS yesterday, just learning all of the things to streamline our business. So always being open to what can help you improve and get some of the administrative stuff off the plate so that you can be in front of clients and connecting. What belief about success in real estate did you have to unlearn before you could truly scale your income?
I know ours was, Peggy, that it was more profitable to go alone. If you just did it by ourselves, we were profitable. We can make the money, and we don't have to divvy it up between team members and things like that. And you learn as you go along, as you build a small team and you start to build some momentum, and then you get some money coming in or commissions coming in from other sources and other people, that team building is a good thing to a certain point. And I say that with a caveat. I know plenty of teams that there's smaller teams or solo agents are probably netting more than some bigger teams in some cases. But I think if you do it correctly and build it out correctly, it can be very profitable. And we had to learn that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just an independent agent with a small team, just very independent team members. And I think delegating definitely does help, because there's a lot of things that I think I'm good at, but really there's other people who love doing it, whether it's paperwork or whatever. They love doing it, and they can do it better than I can. So even things like, doing a CMA or BPO or whatever you want to call it, or even showings, I paid other realtors, like the newer ones, just to show property for me, even though I don't have a formal team. I think that helps as well.
Right. Anyone else have anything to add?
I'd probably say, it's what did you have to unlearn, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just falling into the trap of, like, you hear out there when you're not a realtor, like, hey, if you just post on Facebook, just make videos, all your friends will use you. And so you have to unlearn that. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. You got to go earn business. And even if someone's, friends with you or good friends, you have to show them why you're good. It's not, someone should just use you because they're friends. You have to show them, how good of a realtor you are and prove it. So I think kind of unlearning, if that makes any sense, that, you can just rely on simple things to become successful. And really the work is what shows up.
Yeah. And I think sometimes strangers can end up being your best advocates in the end. So, not being, afraid to, engage with, somebody that's not a close friend, and really pour into a past client. And some of my biggest advocates are past clients that, have sent me numerous referrals over 20 plus years. So, Mike, do you have anything, or we'll pop on to the next question?
Peggy, I would just add to that. It's like one of the biggest learning lessons as far as unlearning is expecting that your friends, your family, your close coworkers are going to use you to buy or sell a house, and you're not contacting them consistently. Is there anything more painful than a family member going out and buying a house without you? You learn that very fast in this business, that if you want them to use you, even the closest person in your sphere or family, you better stay in constant contact with them, because they're just an open house. They're just, a friend out at dinner away from using someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Just to add on top of that, I do feel that just don't be a secret agent. With all my social media and all of my outreach to everybody I know, I just want to make sure that they know for sure I'm in real estate, and then hopefully I take the number 1 or number 2 position in the brain. And after that, if they really choose not to use me for whatever reason, it is what it is. But I just want to make sure, the worst thing is at the end of the day, they're like, oh, I didn't know you're in real estate. At the very least, for sure, they know I'm definitely in real estate and I'm good at what I do. And then if you want to use someone else, whatever.
Yeah.
I do feel compelled, Peggy. There might be some people that are new that get the typical advice, like you got to get out there, you got to make the cold calls, and you got to do the knocks, and some of that's uncomfortable. And I don't know how many people on the stage today remember doing a lot of cold calling when they started. I did none. So it was said once, but you have a strength, you have something that will work for you that feels comfortable, and just double down on that to start and see where that takes you. Would be some advice I have.
Yeah, totally agree with that. As I mentioned to my panelists here, I really hate making calls. I mean, the worst was when I first started out, I sat there for 4 hours staring at the phone. I made one call, I think. Like it isn't me. That's all I can say. I don't care how many coaches and managers tell me to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, well, there's so many ways to do this business, and starting from where your strength is, and building a business around that. Like I like to do coffees, lunches, and face-to-face meetings, and so I built kind of my business around client parties, client events, me popping by with little gifts and having conversations with them. In the end, it's a contact game. So how you feel comfortable doing it. I've never door knocked. I've never cold called. Not that those aren't successful. I'm just trying to go with the methods that will yield the most, because I've raised my oldest is 20 and my youngest is 11. I don't have all the time in the day to be doing things that aren't going to have the higher return on investment. But not to say it's not, different methods are not successful. So, well, let's dive into really looking at everyone on the panel. If you can respond and tell us what your current lead mix looks like and which source delivers the highest return on both time and money. So, I'm going to pick on Steven since he's been in the business the longest.
That's fine. I just didn't want to go first every time. That's fine. I can.
Okay, I'll
Again, and Peggy, our business is run sounds like a little bit like yours, which is really focusing on the past customers, whether it be, daily, we're watching Facebook or our calendar to see whose birthday it is every day. We're sending them something. If it's their birthday, past clients, we're doing, Thanksgiving pies, we're doing events in February, we're, baseball tickets, whatever it is, we're making sure that we're contacting them somehow in some way to keep in touch with them. That is our primary source of leads. That is why. Do we add to that with some, Facebook contact? Absolutely. Very hard to measure that one, other than, it's great to, converse, we set up a Facebook group of all of our customers, and we're just going through there and pinging them on a daily basis. If they're, the kid did this or kid did that, you're congratulating them. You're just keeping that relationship open and going, which is, it sounds like what you're doing. And then as far as the other type of business, we do use a couple, third-party services, things like that, but it doesn't account for that much of the business. Our business is probably higher than what Leo was saying. It's probably more like 75, 80, 85% past customers who are driven in. One thing we did do is we took our database very early on and sorted it down, to who is our A people, who's going to be referring people. That list, whatever you would call it, your top 100, top 500, whatever, however many people you have, those are the people that we're really pounding on a regular basis, because inevitably those are the ones that are going to refer business to you, and that's what you want. It's not just that singular, and we had to learn that it's not just that singular person that we're going after. We're going after the 6 people they know, and that's what scales your business and gets you that jump in your business that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, I'll tell you where most of my business comes from, repeat and referral clients. I was blessed to 20 years ago when I got into the Buffini system. I did the first 100 Days to Greatness class, and have built my business around around that. So I do have a couple of different sources outside of it. I used to be a trust and estate advisor for a wealth management firm in Palo Alto, which is in the Bay Area. So I worked as a corporate trustee, and so I continue to network with estate planning attorneys. I'm a member of our local estate planning council, so I do get some probates and trust things from that. And another piece is I have a website called popeyeideas.com where I list out client gift ideas for other agents to send out to their clients every month. And so I get some agent to agent referrals that way. Who wants to go next?
I'll speak next. Again, I'm out of Toronto. Most of my business, 99% would be repeat and referral, I would say. Most of the business knows me for at least a year before they deal with me. So it's very rare I just call somebody or door knock and then just get business. You know, so some of the business I gotten was like I door knocked them in my rookie year, and then 7 years later I helped sell their house. And that's because I keep in touch. I don't phone them, but I put them in my email newsletter, and occasionally they call me. So yeah, I mean, that's what I do. And so all I could do is just like pop by, you know, whether it's Christmas time or during their birthdays for clients, try some events, that kind of stuff, just sort of keep in touch, because hopefully I'm just top of mind. I'm in real estate and top of mind. And then occasionally something happens, and then, you know, maybe they talk to their cousin and their cousin needs someplace, and then they call me.
Awesome.
I'll jump in. It's Mike and Jordan and Victoria. I keep hearing a lot of what's how I can relate to what I'm hearing is repeat and referral. And if I'm brand new sitting in the audience, I'm thinking that's helpful. Not. But so I guess for me it was, if I could finish my thought, thanks.
Sorry.
All good, bro. It's a contact game. We all know people. We all have a cell phone. If you need to treat them as though they would have done business with you if you'd been in the game for 10 years in dialogue, or don't be afraid to ask them when you have a discussion with them, am I that person for you? What can I do differently to earn that opportunity? What can I do more of? But just continue to try and have the approach that these people will do business with you if you ask. And then when they do business with you, wrap your arms around them and keep in touch with them, and they will do business with you again. And you will build your repeat client base that way. So just a little empathy for the group in the stage if they don't have a big database already, but people know who you are. If they recognize you and you can recognize them at the grocery store, you need to let them know what you do for a living, and you need to ask them if you can help them or their family. Would be my advice.
Yeah, Mike, I'll speak to somebody who's maybe a brand new agent. Part of the Buffini 100 Days to Greatness system is building up a database. And so when I first got into real estate, I relocated from the Bay Area. I was pregnant with my first child, and the only person that I knew in the area was my next door neighbor, Ray. And so I delivered a baby, my first child, and I joined a mom's group. And so that was my first database, 28 women. And then from that, you know, meeting more people, I kind of feel like if you were newer in the business, you know, repeat and referrals come from people that you are actively working with in a database, and when you're new, you've got to add, your main goal is to add to the database, add to those list of relationships. And so I encourage people to do what you love to do in life, right? So if you love something, that's if you love to play soccer and you join a rec soccer team, or you love art and you take art lessons, or you become a docent at the art museum, those sort of relationships, when you're trying to build them, try to do something that you're already going to enjoy anyways, because you're more likely to get like-minded people that will eventually know, like, and trust you. All right.
I like,
Joseph.
Yeah, Peggy, I'm so.
Oh, go ahead.
Peggy, I was also going to say, for people new in the business, our son got into business with us, joined our group, and is doing very well. But when he first got in, I was thinking about that same thing. How is he going to? We have our business, but where is his business going to come from? Where is the new business going to come from? And I would encourage all young people to have a different thought on that. They have what I didn't have, and what some of us didn't have when we got into business. They have a existing database sitting there waiting for them, whether it be in TikTok, whether it be in Instagram, whether it be in Facebook. I had to laugh, and I was worried about my son. And I looked up, and he's got 4,000 people on his Instagram. I said, well, there's a good start as far as people, and just start talking to people that way, just having conversations, private conversations, DM. It's very, you can get to it so much quicker in today's world than we could back when I was starting the business. So to say that it's not there, I think you're thinking at it the wrong way. It's there. They have easier access to it than we do, and can get to it a lot faster, and can generate business a lot faster because they can have that direct contact with people. So I would highly encourage people new getting into the business to go after that first.
I'd also like to add something for the new rookies. It's just, a lot of the business I get are from high school people that have been following me on Facebook or something for years. They never said anything. They're just stalking me. And then, 10 years later, they're like, hey, I need to buy a house, or my dad needs to downsize, or whatever it is. And it's not like I solicited them. But I'm just saying that you still have a network. These are some people that I tutored or something 15 years ago, and I don't even remember who they were. And then they just reach out. So when I say repeat and referral, I just really mean people that I've known for more than a year.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great because, you built a relationship back in high school with those people, right? So this is just a communication method that you're keeping in contact with them, but you've already done the hard work in building a relationship of someone who knows that you have integrity and knows your character. Joseph, have we heard from you on what your business looks like as far as lead sources?
No, and I kind of come at it at a different angle a little bit. I shifted probably about 10 years ago, and I almost do all my money on events. And I know it's tough when you're just starting out. You may not have the business or the income, but for instance, I think I'm coming up on 10 years of doing a movie night that I sponsor for the whole community. It's free, and I get food trucks. I don't pay for the food trucks, but obviously you can buy from the food trucks, but I don't charge them either. And I just found I did postcards in the beginning of my career, and I had to be honest. I was like, I'm sure everyone's doing what I do, which is you look at a postcard and you throw it in the trash. There's nothing there to catch anything. And I feel like, people are sick of just being solicited all the regular ways, so if you can do things, I do a Santa brunch too, Christmas time, where, I hire a Santa to come, and then, people are allowed to come in, and it's definitely not, everyone who comes to my movie night or Santa uses me, but, it definitely, it gets the people who have used me to appreciate what I do and to really go out of their way to recommend me. And yeah, I do get new business from it for sure. I also do like an Easter thing, and I do a Halloween thing, like a trunk or treat that I sponsor. And I set up different things for the Halloween, like a pumpkin carving station too. And I even get a bounce house if it's little kids, or, where the kids can run around once they're, get tired. But a lot of things that I have 3 kids, so I kind of focus my events on families, just because I know parents appreciate being able to take their kids somewhere and get them tired, with minimal effort. So yeah, and I focus on one area, and I've kind of fine tuned it to where I sell the most, even though I do sell a lot of places, but the majority of my business is in one area. And so, yeah, so I've tended to find out that, doing events, anything you can do to kind of, and I don't get obnoxious with it. That's the other thing. I don't, like Joe New Street movie, I just keep it very simple, but everyone knows I sponsor it, but I have banners at the front of the community too, which is important. And then my name's on there, but it's, I don't try to, kind of like a, used car salesman, or like, I hate to pick on people, but like these lawyers who are all over every other commercial, where it's, obnoxious. I always tell people, I just want people to have fun. And then, if they remember me as a realtor, I think if you kind of take the back seat like that, instead of like, hey, it's Joe Newstreet Realtor, movie night. It's like, hey, it's a movie night. Come, food trucks, come have fun. It's a great night. Everybody has a great time, and people will know who does it. But it's something like everything. I think anything you pick, you have to be consistent with it. That's the one thing. You'll hear a bunch, but it's no matter what anybody does, that's the one theme I think everybody will say is you have to be consistent. You cannot do one thing and then say, you know what, I'm gonna send postcards this year, and then next year I'll do this, and then you've got to pick something and do it. But I think events, people are so sick of being harassed, not just by realtors but by everybody for their business, that when you do events, you can do business second, and they're more open to listening to your. And I get people all the time that come to me and say, hey, you do the movie, I want to talk to you. And it's like, okay, where if you're doing something, if you're sending postcards, it's like, I know, I know you sell, I'll talk to you later, so it gets people to kind of drop their guard, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And they're more appreciative. And the other beauty is, as you get going, starting out, you can, depending on how much business you have, or maybe you can talk to someone and they'll understand you're on your way, and get title companies and lenders to help you offset these fees, where they can co-sponsor the events with you, but they don't really care about their name being there. So it really almost becomes a very low cost thing that gets, just your name out there tenfold than what anything else can do.
Perfect. Okay.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better than being at an event that you're hosting with, you've got 80, 100 people, your past clients, and they're all sitting around talking about how great you are. If you need an ego boost, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, you got to, you got to do it from like a humble place, so that it's, if it's your name blasted everywhere, it's like, okay, we get it. It's your, but if you humbly do it, I think people really appreciate it, and then they go out of their way to make sure, that you feel appreciated, which is awesome.
Perfect. I think another thing to think about it, if hosting a big party seems overwhelming to you, I would just focus on looking at those big advocate clients and taking them out to dinner and lunches. I see some agents that they host like a big, put massive effort into like a big, movie event, and then that's it. That's their one hit wonder. And then, and then they don't do it consistently afterwards. And they just try a new thing every couple of months. And then they're wondering why it wasn't successful. It's also the depths of the relationships that you have. And sometimes that can be accomplished, with a $6 Starbucks. So, okay, number 4, if you can double your income in the next 12 months without working more hours, what would you change first?
I'll go
Tom
first.
Ferry would, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So if you want to double your work, double your amount of business, if you're new, I would suggest just doubling your actual work. Realistically, with the distraction of that kind of stuff, just double the work. But if you're, I guess, more advanced and you're already capped out on your work, then it's really about leverage and hiring out whatever you can. So that's just the quick thing. But really for like new people, oftentimes, I don't know what exactly they're doing, but my first year, it'd be like every weekend I'm doing open houses, I'm door knocking, I'm doing whatever my manager told me to do, and really getting out there. I remember this $1 million producer that I was masterminding with. He was in his second year doing like $1 million. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I do like 4 hours of cold call in the morning, then I have lunch, and I do 4 hours of door knocking, and I do this like 5 days a week. I was like, what the hell? But that's why he's making $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a contact game, right? So whatever you're doing now, is there ways that you can contact more and definitely leverage and, getting a showing, a showing agent that you can pay per door, leveraging your time, and then just going deeper into the people that you're already working with to generate referrals for those people that you're already working by upping the game in the client experience. it's our goal to get 2 referrals out of every person that we're actively working with. And so if you're really showing up and wowing that experience, that's an easy way because you're already working with the client and seeing them. Anyone have something to add?
Yeah, a couple things. Obviously, I would double down on the contacts for sure. In context, everybody's worried about the 1,000-pound phone. It doesn't have to be the 1,000-pound phone when talking about contacts. It can still be text, emails, Facebook posts, whatever it's hits. But if you can double the number of hits you're getting per day, and you extrapolate that out into a month and into a year, you'd be amazed at how many more people that you're contacting, and your opportunities go up. So I would certainly do that. Video. Everybody's saying the same thing, but still not that many people doing it in the manner or the quantity that they should be. I think it was Lawrence was talking about people in high school. Well, your chances of doing business with somebody if they see your face out on social media are so much higher. Back before social media, it was the agents who were doing television advertising who were cleaning up. And now we can compete with them on a regular basis because we can do video on, if you don't have a YouTube channel, get a YouTube channel, do your Facebook video, but do it consistently, do it daily if you can. Try to make it, content worthy. Some of the content I see, certainly would make me pick up the phone, but try to, if you can, and make it short. That's the other thing. I would do those things. The other thing that I think helped us early on in the business, just a quick tip and again, this is if you're newer in the business, we did vehicle advertising for a longest time, on our cars, on our moving truck, things like that. It was to help combat that secret agent syndrome that I forget who talked about it there, but that's when you start going into the grocery store, to the restaurant, or the school events and things like that. So, oh yeah, I saw you guys. They don't remember. We had someone actually wrecked our moving truck. Our moving truck was gone for 6, 8, 10 years, and people still thought they saw it. Still thought they saw it where it was parked and using it. That's how much impact those types of things. It's a moving billboard. If you can't do that, do it on your cars. It's a good thing to do. Do the things that other people aren't doing.
I think I'm a better realtor than I am a driver, so I'm going to keep my name off my car. But
stay away from the moving truck for sure.
Yeah. Oh no. Trust me, I would not. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to another question. So this one, really, if you can delve into specifics about how you're leveraging your business, but what systems or processes have created the most leverage in your business, and which ones turned out to be overrated? So examples of this would be CRM. What CRM do you use? What type of admin support do you have? Have you utilized AI in any way? Do you have marketing automation, showing assistance, and more?
I'll go first if that's all right.
Yeah.
So I'm not much of a systems person, to be honest, in my career, but definitely, leaning on it more heavily every year. And I would say the ones that have helped the most, obviously CRM. I use Lofty, EXP. It's great. Such a deal we get from them. I know other people use others, obviously, but I think Lofty does everything that I need, especially. And it's just great to have a CRM that can really organize all your clients for you. I also use HomeBot, teamed up with my lender. And if you're not aware of that, it's a thing that sends your clients a home value every month and just kind of a snapshot of the overall area and what the market's doing. And then they can click on it and it'll show them, they have like their own dashboard where it'll let them know, not just the value of their house, but obviously estimated value, but it seems much more closer than Zillow's Z estimate, which I think everything's probably closer than that thing. But it gets, and then they can kind of mess with it to know if they want to take an equity line of credit or what they're looking at financially. And I don't want to say you can definitely, but everyone I know, their lender pays for it completely, because it helps the lenders too, because a lot of people just want to refinance. So, but when sometimes they don't want to refinance, and then they realize they want to either upsell or downsize, your lender who's partners with you will say, hey, this person is looking for the value. I went over everything with them. You get the alerts too when they've when they've clicked on information, so it helps to be like, okay, I need to reach out to them. I haven't talked to them in a year or two, whatever it is, and say, hey, just how you doing? I see. Do you want me to answer any specific questions on your value? No, obviously you never want to try and be pushy or just there for information for them. Stress that that's what you're there for. And then there's a third thing I use that I tell people it's been huge for me, but you really, I'll tell you the pros and cons of it, because I have colleagues that have used it too without as much success, is RSP. It's a mailer that they send out every other month. They do everything. And the one thing they're really good at too is they get addresses if it's a rental home to the actual owner, if it's a different address than the property address. But they give me a spot, 2 paragraphs to write like a little synopsis of what's been going on in the area. And then they do a map that shows the area, and then a little red arrow with all the homes that have been sold, like a little red dot, like Google Maps, all the houses that have been sold. And then you get to write 3 featured properties. And like I said before, I do really well in one area. So I send that out to people. And when they do that map, it looks like I've sold all those houses. And even though I've sold a decent amount, I haven't sold all of them. But I get so many phone calls from that RSP. I get some, they can click on the thing and get their value, and then it notifies me because there's a code in there in the mailer. But I get calls just because people are like, hey, we got your postcard. We see that you sell everything in here, and it just. I do sell the most in that area, but it really makes it look like no one else sells anything. And my phone calls have been, it's the number one mail. Like I said, I don't do mailers other than that. I did postcards years ago and got nothing. And I would show how much I sold in there, and people didn't care. But this RSP, it's RSP. I think it's RSP.com. But if you Google RSP for realtor, and they only sell to only one realtor can have one area. So if it's already taken, you can't get it, which is nice because you don't have to worry about someone else sending them the same thing. But I do know colleagues have used it trying to grow an area that they have not sold anything in, but they want to, and it has not worked as well for them. So I think it's a very good tool if you do sell, even if it's just 1 or 2 houses in the same area, it can really boost and make it look like you sell a lot more than that. But if you haven't sold any, then I think people know, and then it's just like a normal postcard, and it's not really drawing people to you. But if I wish I had jumped on a couple other spots on that I had sold that are taken now by other realtors years ago that they've had it for years. But I liked it because I got it in the mail from another realtor, and I was like, I remember I'm looking at it thinking, wow, this guy sells everything in here. And then
that's great.
MLS and being like, oh no, he doesn't, but he does, he does pretty good. And I was like, I got to try this. And I did. And it's really
been valuable. Good.
Yeah, it's been very valuable.
We'll have, if anybody is more wants to ask him more questions about that, jot down, Joseph, put your contact information in the chat, and people can reach out to you on the RSP. Okay. We have about 20 minutes left, and we have more questions, and we want to get ultimate value to the audience. Does anyone have any sort of things that they've used to leverage their business that they want to add to the conversation?
I have 3 that should be very quick. One, again, is the showing assistance. I volunteered for the Toronto Real Estate Board, which took up a lot of time in the past 2 years. And I had to pretty much pay money to other realtors to either do showings or home inspections, that kind of stuff. And it actually does free up a lot of time when you think about it. So if you don't care about the cost as much, it frees up your time. Second thing is, again, I really hate making phone calls. So the main way I reach out to my sphere are my email newsletter once a month, which usually includes a family bit in there, and then usually people reply to that, or Facebook. It's just how I leverage my work so that it just reaches out to like 1,000 people, 5,000 people, whatever it is. And the last thing, which is I think very, very good in this in this world, is just digital blockers if you need to, or keep your phone charging in the bathroom at night. Instead of doom scrolling for hours, it's just like, don't put the phone next to your bed and, have different blockers so that you just can't open up the apps. I mean, maybe other people have more self-control than I do, but I find that very helps a lot.
Good. I'll tag on to that, Lawrence, because Mike knows this about me, but I in the new year, I got this device called a Brick, and it's $53 online. There's no, monthly service fee afterwards. And one of my teenage daughters, she got one too. And so we what you do is you tap this Brick, and it makes it so that you can't get on any distracting websites or apps that you designate, right? So I did this, and I get on social media now maybe 7 minutes in the morning, 7 minutes at night. My teenage daughter is like, oh my gosh, Mom, I feel like I have a superpower advantage against other students now. I read 5 books one week. So, eliminating some of the distractions in this business, you feel like you have to be all on, but that really does not give me the best mind and power. And so that would be a big thing. I have a transaction coordinator. I've had one from my very first transaction. That's not something that I'm willing to give up. I do have a part-time assistant. She is licensed, so she can take lock boxes off. She can show properties for me. You usually need an assistant before you can afford one. But that has been the biggest duplicator of my time. And I use Referral Maker. It's a Buffini product. They also send out my mailers every month. And then I send out like an e-blast through that. That's how we do our client invites to events as well. The best CRM is the one that is simple enough that you're going to actually use it. Anyone else have any sort of things that they do to leverage their business? Any technology they want to add? Okay. At what point in your income did you decide to hire help, and which role produced the fastest return? Does anyone have help at this point? Stephen, I'm sure you do.
And I think you already addressed it, Peggy. It's at that point where you feel like you're getting bogged down, whether it be tasks, lock boxes, signs, paperwork, whatever. It's at that point where you're going to find out real fast that you need help, and how good that is. And that's just part of growing your business and figuring out what is going to be dollar productive for you. As agents, we have the knowledge. We should be out there doing belly to belly business constantly. Anything that's not that, if we're not listing, if we're not showing property, if we're not at closing, probably should be delegated to someone else. It could be a part-time, it could be a VA, whatever it is, but that should be designated. You don't need to, as much as, and I love that EXP makes it so easy for us to use products like Canva and some of these other things. You as an agent, it's not your best dollar productive time to be a Canva expert when you can go out and hire someone to do a specific job or task, especially a VA, to do that for you. So I would say I agree with you. Get in that early, and then depending from there, it just really depends on how you want to grow or build your team. If you're just going to be a single agent, you probably just need transactional people to help you with that. Once you start thinking about growing a team, then you're going to need some sort of executive assistant person to help you hire, fire, run the office, that sort of thing.
For the virtual assistants, I do have a lot of videos online to show how to get it. It's very, very simple, even when you start off. I mean, again, they cost maybe $5 an hour kind of thing. You can have them, I've had them do my WordPress updates, make some graphs for me, do some video editing, and it's like contractual, so you don't have to, it's not like a full-time 3-month hire. It's just like a very short term, hey, I need this done. Can you do that? And it's like, sure. And you pay $20 or something like that. It's a good way to get into it before you need like more full-time help.
Right. Lawrence, can you put the link to your YouTube video in the chat?
Sure. I'll try to look for it.
Great. All right. Anyone else have anything to add onto this?
No, I don't. That's not a. I'm not. I think that you guys covered it all perfectly.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to do a combo deal on one of our questions. So basically, what would your ideal work week look like? And how do you protect your time, energy, and personal life while still delivering high-touch client service? So you can talk about like what are some non-negotiable activities that you do.
I'll go first if that's all right.
Yeah, right.
So I have 3 kids. I know Peggy, you said you had 5, so you're probably in the same boat. There's we're lucky in real estate. We're not. My family understands this. I explain it to clients. We're not 9 to 5. So it's just learning how to balance. There's times I try to pick up my kids from school every day because I love it. It's they're so excited, and that's when they talk to me the most. They get in the car and tell me about their day before they get home and try and get their electronics or something else. And obviously sometimes I can't because showings, but most times showings are pretty not for me, but the clients, the other realtors or their clients are flexible on time. So I'll pick a time that then allows me to do that. And then, the weekends, sometimes I can, a lot of times I have something, but I can either, do something with my kids in the morning and then because I have showings in the afternoon or vice versa, or, sometimes I can't, I've got to do the showings all day. So, but, it's just learning, I might miss dinner one night, but, then I'm there for lunch all the time more than people who are 9 to 5. So you just got to take the balance of, being able to know that, you're not 9 to 5, you might miss some things, but you're going to make a lot more events with your family than a lot of people can, even especially the simple things. So yeah.
Yeah, Mike, I'm sure you have a lot to say about this. You're our mind guy. You're our guy for this kind of topic, aren't you?
Oh, you're killing me. I love it.
Yeah,
biting my tongue thinking I
you're a
sound like
repeat offender on ICONversations.
That's right. Yeah. Broken record. But it's so effective for my mental health. I can't show up for other people if I can't show up for myself. So it all starts with self-care. This is quite the career, and if you let it, it can. I don't know. It can be either side of the pendulum, right? As far as our mental health goes. So starting my day early, quietly, stretching, meditating, journaling, praying, reading, exercising are key. And there's only so many hours in a day, so I can only get it done early or it just doesn't fit. Some days I feel like sleeping in and maybe that happens and I just kind of say, well, most days I'm going to do these things. So I go to bed early and I wake up early. Like I say, I just have a morning routine that allows me to show up for myself, family, and others. And that's kind of my jam that I think you were evading to. So thanks for asking.
Yeah.
For myself, I try to take Wednesdays off just because weekends are all over the place. And in general, I've done like one open house in the past 5 years. I really don't like it. It interrupts my family time. And I don't think they're that efficient in terms of amount of business per hour. But those are the 2 things I do. I don't know what else is said. I was too busy looking for a video.
Oh, I know. Well, thank you. Lawrence has posted his video links in the chat. So make sure that you snag those before this is over. Great. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, I was.
Go for it, Stephen.
I was just going to say a couple of things that should help people. If you would just pick the 3 things the night before that you want to get accomplished the next day, get a head start on the next day before it even gets there. That's very helpful. Second to that, when you start having kids and a family and all their events, you have to do time blocking. You have to know that, okay, between 9 and 11, I will be in the office and I have to get these items done, and maybe in the afternoon I have to do these things, because your schedule starts to look like a nightmare, right? It's chaos. It's my wife and I are in the business and run the business, and my son. We are family first. I mean, I can proudly say that in 43 years in the business and raising my kids, I never missed an event, ever missed an event. And that comes from good time blocking, good scheduling, and prioritizing. You have to be able to say no to clients. And that's one of the hardest things agents do. They think if they say no, that client's going to go away, they're going to work with someone else. That is not the case. And if this is the case, then maybe you shouldn't be working with them. But you have to be able to say no. You have to show them the importance of you and of your time and of your skill and your experience. And maybe if you work Saturday and you've worked a 10-hour day on Saturday, it's okay to take off Sunday. Don't feel guilty about it. Spend the time with the family, because in the end, guys, I can tell you, I've been doing this a long time. In the end, the money doesn't matter. It just doesn't. The material things don't matter. It's going to be the family at the end of this. And the happiest people I know are the ones who focused on that, the family first, and took care of their family.
Great. Well, and you must have done a good modeling job if your son joined your business. So a lot of kids are like, oh my gosh, I would never go into real estate. I had such a chaotic childhood because of it. So you must have been doing something right. Yeah. I will say time blocking is the key. I had the great advantage of birthing 5 children and having to be extremely efficient when I worked. You drop a kid off at preschool, that gives you 2 hours and 15 minutes, and so really being diligent in getting the work done. And my assistant and I stop working at 3 every day so we can pick up our kids, and we plow through the work, and then I'll take appointments in the evening by appointment only. So protecting your time. I'm also with Mike. I just read this book, The Miracle Morning. I heard Hal and Rod speak in the fall. Having some sort of morning system where you get your brain and your body right. I exercise I haven't missed a day since December, I think 21st. But that really shapes my day. I make better decisions if I exercise first thing. Okay, let's go on to what EXP tool or benefit is working for you that others should use? First of all, I'll just start off by saying Glenn Stanford built the most amazing real estate company where he, it has encouraged those people doing high production to share how they do it through ICONversations and other different panels. My experience, I worked for a big brand for 15 years, and people were extremely protective of what made them successful. And that's not how EXP works, and I love it. But what sort of tools or benefits have you used with EXP, if anyone has anything specific?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Lawrence, take it.
Okay. For me, we're talking about showing assistance before, and really the best way to do this, at least that I've found, is that there's a lot of agents at EXP. In Ontario, for instance, we have like 2,500 agents or something like that. There's quite a few that will take you up on, hey, I need you to see this place. Some will do for free, but basically you pay them or whatever. And there's no shortage of people that would do that. And so leverage the people that are here, because for compliance reasons, at least in Ontario, it helps that we're part of the same brokerage. And so we can do things that where you wouldn't be able to do it like cross brokerage, which I had to do in the past, where I had to get other agents from other brokerages to help me. In this case, it's just you have such a good network here. And this is just purely from the showing assistant side. I think there's a lot of benefits there.
Great. Stephen, take it.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that after being an independent for 20 years, when we jumped in with EXP, strongly encourage people get on as many Zoom calls as you can, because the amount of knowledge that these agents all over the country, like us, other ICON agents and mega producers are pouring out on a daily basis is a gold mine. Go and listen. If you don't like what they're saying, get off and go do something else. But it's amazing the amount of knowledge. And I agree with what Peggy was saying. In this company, they have no problem with sharing at all. So you can pick up so much good information so fast, cut down on your mistakes, increase your marketing, all those good things. It's just an invaluable opportunity. And don't stay, you don't have to stay inside your line, who brought you into the company, that sort of thing. Go experiment out, join some on the West Coast, join some of the other ones around, because they're saying and doing different things. And it's very helpful.
Yeah, and just listening to Leo's podcast, the woman who was on in the big meeting before us, her, just the little snippets that they previewed. I mean, it's a gold mine. I mean, you can really accelerate your growth just by tapping into those things. Last week, we had someone who joined the Revenos, the relocation, did all the classes, and he said he was getting business from it. And then I asked him, oh, well, just tell me kind of how much business are you actually getting from it? And I think he said, oh, well, I have like 20 or 30 listings right now from it. So, if you haven't gotten certified for, the relocation products, it's very easy to do and to get tapped into that referral source. Also, if you haven't joined the Slack channel, and I know Glenn came out with another channel that I have, or another software I have not adopted yet. I just saw an email last week to get connected to agent referrals is a huge one. Anyone else have anything to add? We've got 4 minutes left. EXP product. Okay. Well, then last question is if you guys have any specific book or podcast that you would recommend to an agent in a skill that has, helped your business in some way. Anyone? Nobody reads books?
Oh, golly. I love it. Yes, I love to read books.
You have good books. You have good books.
I don't know. I'm just finishing up The Magic right now, Rhonda. Byron, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I read a book a week. I just love anything self-help. Anything that gets me feeling a certain way in the morning, that gets me ready for the day. I'm not a big sales book person. I think Think and Grow Rich would be like the biggest salesy type book that I've read. And I've read it like every year since I picked it up a long, long time ago. And then podcast, same thing, who's helping my mental health. Who's putting me in that mindset? Like Jay Shatty, On Purpose is his podcast. He's just a nice dude, talks about cool things, makes me feel better after listening. Whatever can leave me with an impression of increase is good stuff for me. Look at all those great books listed there. Thanks for having me today, and thank you very much, Peggy, for coordinating this, and Brian.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
In the chat, I put in a whole bunch of lists of books that I have recommended to my Facebook rookies, which I run a group with like more than 2,000 agents in Ontario for rookies. And so I posted 38 real estate related books, but really, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I pretty much read that once every year or two, I guess. And everything else is just whenever they come, I guess. But if anyone has a question or want that list again, just reach out to me.
Okay, great. Anyone else have a book recommendation? I'll say probably the best book is for me was How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's an oldie but goodie. Right now I'm having a lot of fun looking at longevity and health, and I'm listening to Peter Attia's. He's a Stanford Doctors podcast. That one has been really good. Anyone else have anything? Otherwise, we will close out. And I'm trying to copy and paste all of the books that you've listed, Lawrence, at the same time.
Again, reach out if you want it. Just email me, or I can send you the list.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyone else? Joseph, are we good?
No, I think the books are covered there. I mean, podcast is a fantastic podcast. I'm a big, just kind of search and see a little clips and then dig deeper for something that interests me. But there's so much out there, that those are great because it just gives you a snippet. And then if it's a topic that, obviously there's topics that won't help people, but there's some that, can really, you feel like can help you, and just dive into those.
Good. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, guys. I think Brian will take us out. And it was so cool, Joseph. You're a little robot on stage, and your audio started talking robot at the last minute. So I was like, oh, wow, that's a nice little treat at the end. I don't know what happened. All right.